Hi, this is Michaela Danica and this is my Unit 7 video project. In this video I will show you how to derive the law of cosines from a triangle using Pythagorean theorem and cosine. As you can see, I have already drawn an oblique triangle with the measurement of angle A 70 and the length of AC as 30 and the length of AB as 20. I have already defined the sides and angles with the side of A opposite from angle A, the side of B opposite from angle B, and also the side of C opposite from angle C. So first, to derive the law of cosine is that I'm first going to divide this triangle into two. To do this, I'm going to draw a line from angle B to the base of this triangle, thus creating a right angle, and I'm going to call this dotted line H. Next, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to define this side of the base and this side of the base, and I'm going to define this as y for now, and then I'm going to define this as 30 minus y because this whole length is 30 and we're subtracting it from y. Next, what we're going to do is that we are going to use cosine on this smaller triangle to define y. As you know, cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. And we're going to plug in what we know. So cosine is going to be 70. Adjacent is y. And hypotenuse is 20. And I'm going to solve for y. So I'm going to do this by putting cosine of 70 over 1. And I'm going to cross multiply. And then we're going to solve for y, and after that it's going to be y equals 20 times cosine of 70 degrees. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to box it off for now, and we're going to save this for later. I'm also going to highlight it to correspond. Next, we're going to use Pythagorean theorem on the smaller triangle to define h. Now, as you know, Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Again, we are going to plug in what we know. A is going to be y. So that's going to become y squared plus h squared. And that's going to be, c is going to be 20 squared. Again, over here I'm going to define for h, so I'm going to rearrange it. So that's going to become h squared equals 20 squared minus y squared. Again, as you did for cosine, I'm going to box it off and highlight it and use this later, and you will see why. Next, what we're going to do is that we're going to use Pythagorean theorem on this larger portion of the triangle to define a. So Pythagorean theorem, move this up here. Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We're going to highlight this larger triangle purple so it'll be easier to correspond later. we're going to plug in what we know. A squared is going to be 30 minus y squared. B is going to be h squared, and C is going to be a squared. Next that 2's on the outside. Next what I'm going to do is that I'm going to split this into two separate terms. Then it's going to become 30 minus y plus h squared equals a squared. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the box method to simplify this. Or you can use box method or FOIL. 30 negative y is going to be 30 squared. Negative 30y is going to be negative 30y. That's going to be y squared. And we're going to bring this whole down, bring this down. This would be 30 squared minus 30y minus 30y plus y squared plus h squared, and that's all going to equal a squared. Next what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these two terms together, so it's going to be even simplified even more. It's going to become 30 squared minus 2 30y plus y squared plus h squared equals a squared. Next what we're going to do is that we're going to plug in from what we know. Now we're going to use this h squared. H squared equals 20 squared minus negative, sorry, let me rephrase that. H squared equals 20 squared minus y squared. So we're going to use that over here. So we're going to bring it down. 30 squared minus 2 30y plus y squared plus 20 squared minus y squared equals a squared. Now as you can see, we can go ahead and start eliminating some of the terms because y squared and negative y squared cancel out. We can cross those out. We can bring this down to 30 squared minus 2 30y plus 20 equals a squared, 20 squared. Now what we're going to do next is that we're going to solve for y. Now over here we already defined y as 20 times cosine of 70. So we're going to plug that in. So 30 squared minus 230 that's going to become 20 times cosine of 70 degrees plus 20 squared equals a squared. And this is our cosine, law of cosine formula for this particular triangle up here. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to rearrange it. So it's going to be easier. So it's going to be a squared equals 30 squared plus 20 squared minus 2 times 30 times 20 times cosine of 70 degrees. And what we can do is we can just plug this into our calculator. We can just plug in this whole expression. And once we do, 30 cosine of 70. And once we do, we get a squared equals 889.75. And once we find the square root of that, a equals 29.82, and that's the length of A. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the numeric values from this formula and the corresponding alphabetical value from this triangle, and once we do that, we're going to get one of the three cosine formulas, which is a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2 times bc times cosine of a. And that is how you derive the law of cosine using Pythagorean theorem and cosine.